Oh hey look, it's been a year since my last episode of YouTubers I Like. I think I'm noticing a pattern. I seemingly only do this series once a year, so hey, back by unpopular demand, it's YouTubers I Like. This episode being on music YouTubers. If you didn't know, I'm a pretty big music fan, specifically of metal music, so we'll mostly be discussing rock and metal oriented music reviewers. I must say though that a huge portion of internet music reviewers in my eyes are a fucking joke, because most of them at this point are very clearly biased in favor of pop and mumble rap, which I have no idea as to why. I can remember a time when a lot of people were disgruntled with the state of pop music and were eager to reminisce about the glory days long since past. But nowadays, so many people out there are just keen on sucking up to the big corporations and the vapid garbage they spew out. And anyone who dares criticize pop music is written off as a boomer or a lay wrong generation kid. I've genuinely seen some people on here who think that Cardi B's WAP is the second coming of Jesus Christ, but we'll be avoiding those corporate shills and talk about the critics that actually matter. First one is for all my fellow metalheads out there, a YouTuber by the name of Gonilock. While I do follow a plethora of different metal-oriented YouTubers, very few of them make me laugh. Thankfully, we have Gonilock, who proves you can have a metal YouTube channel that's both informative and funny at the same time. Well, that depends on how you define informative.
You see, there were hints of thrash cropping up all over the underground, but it wasn't until this year that we got Metallica's Hammer Smashed Face, Slayer's new wave of British heavy metal but faster, Exodus's Die by His Hand, and Overkill's Overkill's Power in Black. This was also when the band Suicidal Tendencies released the album Suicidal Tendencies, which then went on to release the EP Suicidal Tendencies, which released the single Suicidal Tendencies, which disappointed and depressed fans so much that the word suicidal physically manifested above their heads and announced to the world their condition.
But it's definitely funny. Something Steve Terryberry doesn't have bragging rights to. I also really like his more minimalist editing style. I dislike how many modern YouTubers' editing has essentially become a hyper-budget version of Michael Bay, with loud shit, memes, and explosions scattered all around the place. Gonilock's editing style harkens back to the days when I first watched YouTube, circa 2011. He typically covers the more extreme and obscure side of metal music, so I'd really recommend this channel to more die-hard metal fans. Even as someone who's been listening to metal for over a decade, I don't know many of the bands he covers in his videos, but nonetheless, I'm willing to learn new bands every day, so metal enthusiasts should definitely give this channel a watch. Now on to something a bit more traditional, MiddleEight. This channel typically focuses mostly on alternative rock, although it does venture into other genres as well. This channel takes an upward slope in terms of production values, and lacks the humor of the previous channel or even more popular contemporaries like Anthony Fantano, but that's not always a bad thing. There's a relaxing kind of vibe to these largely serious edutainment channels on YouTube, and MiddleEight is no exception. I first discovered this channel through their video on Imagine Dragons, a poser rock band that's hated equally by rock fans and pop fans the world over. The former due to them not being rock regardless of what Showboard tells you, and the latter because even as pop music, Imagine Dragons are simply bland as fuck. Sorry if I'm getting off track. Now, where was I? MiddleEight isn't my favorite music YouTuber, but it's definitely something I'd recommend to you regardless of your taste in music. For once, I want to give a shout out to a really small YouTuber, someone with less than 1,000 subs. Introducing Perk Productions. While a lot of this channel is just shitposts, he does have a series called A Rough Guide to Metal Subgenres that I've been hooked on ever since it started, and it's technically still in the works. If you are new to metal and want to get into it, this series is a great way to learn about this genre and its lore. It's very well put together for a small YouTuber, and entertaining as fuck, largely down to the fact that he's Scottish, and there's nothing I love more than a Scottish accent.
One of the most important bands of the scene was a little band you might have heard of by the name of Metallica. Yep, that's right, there was a time when Metallica were underground and rebelling against the mainstream. The fucking irony.
Probably my favorite accent in the whole world. So give him a sub and let him know your boy Slayer sent you. He's in dire need of some extra attention. It's always interesting to see the roots of a genre of music. Genres aren't just born, they are slowly crafted. Before Black Sabbath came in and codified metal into a separate genre, there were some precursors in the years leading up to 1970. Trash Theory is a channel that often delves into that type of subject, and it's one of the most interesting things I've seen from music YouTube. They almost feel like mini documentaries of sorts. Although I'm a bit baffled that his longest video in this series is on a subgenre nobody gives a crap about. Well, technically if you put his 2 pop-punk videos together, it's his longest video, but you know what I mean. I was actually kinda surprised that I wasn't already subbed to this channel, because I do remember frequently watching this channel a few months ago, but never mind. Nonetheless, I think this is a channel everyone should check out. It's definitely a gem worth checking out in this era of music YouTubers. There aren't very many music YouTubers that I would consider good, but this channel is amazing and definitely worth your time. So before I end off this video, I'd like to mention that I originally wanted to make a rant on pop music for the past couple of months, but there were a multitude of things holding me back. Firstly, there's copyright issues holding me back, so therefore I can't demonstrate why I dislike certain pop songs without YouTube whooping my ass. And there's also just the fact I don't want to go out of my way to listen to much of what's on the charts. I know not all pop music is bad. There's this one song by The Weeknd I think is pretty nice, but what's bad is really bad. Like, I'm pretty embarrassed to live in a society where WAP is not only one of the biggest songs of the year, but is seen as meaningful in the eyes of music critics. It kinda reminds me of the movie Idiocracy, where society has become so fucking stupid that the #1 movie in the country is called Ass, and that's all it is for 90 minutes. I don't hate pop music on paper, but I hate what the capitalist pigs have turned it into. But you really could say that about the entertainment industry as a whole, really. And all these pop-biased music critics on the internet aren't helping when they defend blatant garbage. Maybe I'll make a pop music rant some other day, but not anytime soon. Life has been kinda rough recently, and I'm considering taking a short hiatus. But in the meantime, this has been your boy Slayercoon. Expect to see another YouTubers I like next year. Well, that is if we're even still here by then.